Hey, welcome back to Car Talks, where I rant, rave, babble, word vomit, whatever my thoughts are on strength conditioning and fitness, or just training, or life, really just whatever. But I think something people don't really understand like a lot is the difference between volume and intensity, and in different, I guess, aspects. The different aspects of really what that looks like versus, whether it's weight training, whether it's conditioning, things like that. Volume, when you're really looking at it, is kind of like your set and rep totals, like how many reps you're doing, I guess, per workout. Could also be thought of in terms of tonnage. So basically sets and reps multiplied together, multiplied by the number, like the amount of weight you use per set. So let's just say you do 3 sets of 10, and you're doing 100 pounds per set of 10. Let's just say it's a bench press or something like that. Your total tonnage for that lift is going to be 300 pounds. Did I do that right? Yeah, 300 pounds. No, 3,000 pounds. 3,000 pounds, right? You got 30 reps there, times 100, 30 times 100, 30,000. Add the 0. I'm really great at math, you couldn't tell, right? Intensity is more about the actual load that we're looking at, right? So let's just say we have a tonnage of, let's just for example, if I do 10 sets of 3 reps on a squat at, let's just say we're going at 300 pounds, right? Well, I still have 30 reps at 300 pounds. Well, all of a sudden now I'm at 9,000 pounds total intensity, okay? Now, if I did 3 sets of 10 at 300 pounds, my tonnage is still gonna be 9,000 pounds. But depending on what it is relatively to a max weight, is kind of define the intensity, right? So volume versus intensity, more reps and sets is going to be more volume. Intensity is going to be higher weight relative to a maximum ability to move weight. So if my max squat is 315 and I'm squatting 300, that's a huge difference, at least in what it takes out of my nervous system. Higher intensity requires higher recovery. And if you're not recovering between sets, and you're not recovering between sessions, right, you run a higher risk of overtraining. Volume and intensity run in this inverse relationship. So the higher your volume, the less intense it's going to be. Now, obviously, you can modify intensity by changing your rest sets, and giving less rest between sets. But I think it's kind of like that. There's a big misunderstanding, especially I've talked about in videos before, like a lot of high school coaches don't really, understand that. Especially when it comes to conditioning too, like intensity, 110-yard sprint for a receiver who's only 175 pounds, not that big a deal. But for a 250-pound high school freshman lineman, definitely a big deal. Being able to understand how intensity plays from athlete to athlete, based on relative ability and relative strengths, relative speeds, things like that, definitely plays a factor. So there's an inverse relationship. The more volume we do, and as we creep up to higher intensities, right, we got to make sure that we have rest periods set in place. We've got to make sure that we have skill levels set in place to be able to handle those tonnages and handle those loads, or else you run a higher risk of injury. Like I said, these are just kind of my thought processes right now. I don't prepare these. I'm just kind of working through thoughts out loud with these. But yeah, make sure you understand the difference there, right? Volume's the sets and the reps, kind of multiplied to total repage. Intensity is kind of that overall average percent, or that proximity to those max weights. So if we can understand those and understand how they're supposed to have kind of an inverse relationship in order to improve performance, I think a lot of people will be a lot better off knowing those differences.